Hey, Tony Gaskins here, popping in really quick. Now, today, got a talks with Tony. Somebody signed up for a one-on-one session but chose to do it as a talks with Tony where I read the question and then I answer the question. That way, new way of doing a coaching session because it allows the client to just listen to the information over and over and over, where sometimes in a coaching session emotions be all over the place, you miss some stuff, trying to take notes and don't hear everything. So we're gonna jump into it. This will be about 30 minutes. Let me see here. Yep, be about 30 minutes. Y'all forgive me here because I got my phone sitting on my laptop. First and foremost, thank you, Mr. Gaskins, for working in your calling and allowing God to use you the way He does. You have certainly been a blessing in my life. I also thank you for allowing my request. I'm going to do my best not to make this too lengthy and get to the point. However, I do need to provide a few details for context. I'm in my mid 40s and am on my fourth marriage. I know. I only had children with my first husband, and they are both over 20 years old. Since I turned 19, I have been engaged 5 times and married 4, with my first marriage occurring at the age of 21. These are not quick fly-by-night marriages either. I'm losing at least 5 to 7 years of my life with each relationship. I never had a shortage of men wanting to marry me, usually within 3 to 6 months of dating. I never understood why they were so eager to marry, and even now I don't quite fully know, although I do have somewhat of an idea. Every single one of them have ended in cheating from the man, not me, and a mixture of either physical, emotional, verbal, or mental abuse. It's my current husband, the one I'm writing to you about, that caused me to do some soul searching. Let me start by saying he was a childhood friend that was incarcerated when we were in our late teens. He was given a life sentence for his crime. No, he didn't murder or gravely injure anyone. That is just how it is in Texas. You never know what you're going to get as the judge holds the power. And he asked me to marry him when he first went in, but I declined. I was on my way to college and I didn't want to saddle myself down at 17 with a lifer. He is eligible for parole in 3 years. And no, he is not the one that proposed to me at 19. We lost touch after a few years and then we reconnected during the breakdown of my third marriage. His grandmother said he had been searching for me for years and she wanted my number to give to him. When we reconnected, it was like old times, but better. He was very interested in my life and wanted me to fill him in on everything. He was very attentive when I spoke and allowed me the space to vent. He didn't want me to hold back and reminded me how we were friends and how he used to give me advice on guys back in the day that hadn't changed. He wanted me to open up. He eventually said he wanted to give us a try again in the right way without the streets being in the way because he realized he made many mistakes in his youth and he wanted another chance at doing it the right way. I was hesitant because my divorce wasn't final and I didn't want to start something while attached to someone else, but he told me if he couldn't have me as his girlfriend, then he didn't want me as his friend. It would hurt him too much knowing the feelings he had for me, but not having them return. I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. We married 4 years later. I now know that was desperation because I idealized him and I thought he was a safe bet. All appeared great until I gave my life to the Lord 6 years later in 2020. I started changing and I didn't talk the same and I wasn't willing to do the things I had been doing over the years. I didn't like the negativity he kept putting out when we spoke, and whenever I asked him about growing and maturing, an argument would ensue. His insecurity began to show, and he soon began to accuse me of cheating on him due to me being at church 3 days out of the week. I had intentionally become a homebody when we committed ourselves to each other because he struggled with any attention I received when I did go out anywhere. I was never a clubber or a partier, so I couldn't understand why he felt that way. I grew up a church girl, and he knew that I was boring. He knew that I was as boring and as plain as they came, yet he always made comments about me finding someone and leaving him like everyone else. I tried to do everything I could to show him I was in for the ride and understood what I had signed up for, but it seemed it was never enough. In all of this, I continued to profess my love, keep him updated on everything, and tried to exercise patience with him. We've been together since 2014, and I have been 100% faithful to him from day one in every sense of the word. Everything came to a head at the start of 2022. I had not Googled him in 8 years and decided out of the blue to do so. I found ads that he placed looking for other women. Long story short, it was later confirmed he had indeed started another relationship with someone else. I realized something had to be wrong with me because I kept choosing wrong. I spent 2022 and the first half of 2023 doing the work and getting the help I needed via counseling with 2 different licensed therapists and your videos along with others on YouTube. I was able to see the errors I was making, the main being I never healed from previous relationships, and I kept giving guys the playbook to manipulate me. I talked too much. That aside, my husband asked me to come back and give him a chance. He finally admitted well over a year and a half later that his friend girl was more than a friend. And he did that only because I finally told him his grandmother had already told me in 2022. I got tired of him lying about it, and then he said he had been basically future faking with her. He claimed that while she was giving him all the attention he ever wanted and spoiling him, she wasn't home like I was. As a doer of the word, I tried to salvage my marriage, but found out he lied about cutting ties with his girlfriend. I immediately cut him off. Since then, he keeps telling me he doesn't want to divorce. He wants his marriage, but he doesn't want to let her go. He has fears that I would leave him after he cut her off, and then he would have no one. I told him there was no way we could possibly start rebuilding with her in the background, and I have moved on, continually working on myself daily. We rarely speak, and I don't provide financial support. He has filed divorce twice in anger, yet he doesn't finish the process, and it gets hung up in the courts for months and eventually dismissed. I've recently spoken with a divorce attorney and now have a game plan for preventing further delays. I'm on the fence because 90% of me just wants to get a divorce and start a new chapter. However, there is that 10% of me that doesn't want to give up on my marriage or my husband. I also feel like I don't deserve to have another man in my life. I have had 4 failed marriages, and some women haven't even experienced one marriage. There is also the fear of starting over and the fear of the unknown because I have a history of men wanting to marry me. I'm kind of scared to trust whether it would be a real connection or not. I understand that men in prison are a lost cause. Trust me, I do. However, I didn't realize that until my marriage. If we were simply talking, I would have cut him off long ago. But I do take my vows seriously and don't want to walk away without giving it my all. Can you offer some insight on my situation as well as what I may need to do to prevent presenting myself as open, available, and a possible filler until their woman comes along? Thanks again for all you do. So we got about 15 minutes here on this here answer because I got a coaching call and I didn't realize the email was that long. It was kind of, it didn't look long, but it was a lot of words kind of packed on in there. I can move this here. Now listen to me. Now, first and foremost, let me say it is a blessing to have had 4 marriages. That right there, you got some sauce on you. Now I can see your picture right there, and now based on your picture, you look like a everyday woman. Not, you ain't trying to do too much, and I don't see, I don't see makeup. I don't see lip filler. I don't see lashes. I don't see microblading. Just look like a naturally pretty sister. And so I don't know if you got a booty like the bush women in Africa, or you were sexually active with these men and something you would do on that first time that'll rock their world, or if you cook like Aunt May. I don't know what going on for these men to be marrying so fast, because I think you might be the first, if not only the second, in the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of women that I done talked to that have had 4 marriages. Now, granted, it's not like they, probably the pick of the litter, and because this one right here is a jailbird, and so I know don't nobody else want him but you and that lady he found on that Craigslist ad. So the thing what you got to understand, if he's not a murderer, like if he's not somebody that you fear, then you do need to go ahead and let him go, because he really is spitting in your face. Now here you have a jailbird who don't have no options, and he telling you he don't want to let her go, but he don't want to let his marriage go. And that right there is a slap in the face, because when you got somebody that got 3 hots in a cot and they got to take orders from somebody, that's not somebody that you're supposed to be wasting time with and going back and forth with on how they gonna treat you and how they gonna act. And then he putting out ads. Now I don't know how that worked with you Googling him and finding the ads. That's very interesting, but I'm guessing he had his government name in there. But for you to be able to find that he had these ads and he had his name on there, that's very remedial of him. And it's also very desperate. It's also very pornographic. It's also very disgusting, because he could get any kind of woman. These women could have anything going on with him. So for him to be that low and that desperate, he's really just he's a very low functioning human being. And to have been in trouble to where he get a life sentence, I get it, streets, drug charges and stuff like that, but you also have to realize that God have nothing to do with this marriage, because God didn't put it together. God is not the author of confusion, and what God does not have for his daughter is a jailbird. Point blank period. God is going to send somebody that is your equal. If God is in it, the man is going to be your equal. You're not, this man here is, Make-A-Wish Foundation, save a child, give a dog a bone type husband. This is not a real husband. This is this a charity husband. And so you got to realize and understand that. And I wouldn't waste my time with it. So by all means, please pick up, let go, go ahead, go through the divorce, get past the delays, and do what you got to do to let this thing go. Because, and the only thing you got to worry about is if he get out in 3 years, if he the type to get aggressive. That's your biggest fear that you need to worry about. So you need to be thinking about that. Make sure maybe you either done move places and his grandma or whoever don't know where you stay. You got to kind of create some distance, create some separation. Maybe get you a P.O. box and start writing him from the P.O. box, and don't respond from when he write to your address, to create separation like that. And then if you feel like you up for a move, I would move to a new place, just because you is dealing with a jailbird. And with that, you never know their mindset. You never know how far they'll go. And it's not even about a man being aggressive or homicidal. It's really like we could come over to a woman's house that, we feel we got ownership in her life, and it could be another man at the house, and then that turns into a shootout or that turns into a fight and somebody end up getting really hurt or losing their life, and we could never have that intention when we were going. So just think about that and be mindful of that, because you never know what can go. Because even me, I'm sitting here and I'm a life coach, and I know without a shadow of a doubt, I'll take a man's life in a heartbeat. And that's just the nature of men, and you have to understand that. And I talk to so many women, and they like, oh no, he'll never hurt me. Oh no, he'll never do this. Oh no, we'll kill anybody. That is the nature of man. If we will sign up in a white man army and go to another country and take the life of a yellow man that ain't never called us the N word, and we doing it for the white man who done called us the N word and hung us for trees, that mean we'll take a life for anybody. And you got to understand that. And you got to get that in your spirit and don't put nothing past no man. And that's why if he got 3 more years in there, that's the perfect amount of time to get so much separation to where whatever is in him, through your prayers and your separation, it done died down. It done died down. It done died down. But if you continue to talk to him, you'll be leading him on. You'll be leading him on, stringing him along, and you'll be like winding up a jack in the box. And when he get out, he gonna explode on you. So you got to be mindful of that, beware of that, and going through with the divorce, and just tell him the hard stuff what he need to hear. And so in essence, I would write a letter that basically says, hey, I thank you so much for receiving this letter. This is gonna be my last time writing you. You know, I'm gonna be filing for divorce and going all the way through with the divorce. I realized that this was just fun for you. This was just you getting your lick back, just you getting me back for your ego, and that you don't love me and you never loved me, because if you did, you would have never been putting ads on Craigslist and seeking women like a bum. You ain't got to put name calling in there, but I'm just giving you a little gist of it. And so now that you done played with me, that I done gave you this chance while you got 3 hots in a cot down on your luck, and I treat you like you a king somewhere, and I'm out here 100% faithful to you when I got that sauce on me, that dripping swag goo, and then had 4 of y'all ninjas, and you the 4th one, so I obviously ain't got no problem getting no man, and so I give you broke, busted, and disgusted Jailbird a chance, and then you want to play in my face and go put ads online and then go get you another woman who obviously is a scallywag, because she probably don't know you from high school like I do, to give you a chance because I felt bad for your grandma. And now you talking about she all this and that, and you don't want to lose her, so you finna lose me. Bye. Lose my address, lose my phone number, and don't reach out to me no more. Now, put that in a nice way in your words, but that need to be the feeling of it, but just in nice decorum words, because you don't want to poke the bear and have him in there punching them walls and drinking the toilet water out that metal toilet, and he flipping off, going crazy, and he want to get back at you by getting one of the little, sissies off the yard and getting them a little head from a sissy, because y'all forget the language, that's just the term of it. To get back at you. You don't want him losing his mind and he bouncing off walls and then he come out enraged. So put it in a nice little way to where he can receive it, but you got to cut him off. Go on, cut him off. Get in you a prayer group. Get in you some life coaching. Do what you got to do, but you got to move on, because he don't want you. He never wanted you. You fell into what I coined this as the black book syndrome. What a man do is when we move on and we end up and we lost with nothing and whatever, we go back to our black book and we look at all the women that we done dealt with in the past, and we just go down the list and see who we could reach out to, see who we could get in touch with, see who gonna give us the most motion. Because most of them gonna be married, gonna have kids. They gonna be like, child, forget you, ain't want you then, don't want you now. So we just looking for that one that we could get that's gonna give us the time